Some of the most common questions I get from parents of infants are about the flat spots and the cranial shape. Does it look like they need a helmet? Will it get better on its own? We tried tummy time, but they don't like it. Is that enough? Is it going to stay this way? With most parents having these questions, even if they haven't asked them out loud to a practitioner, the topic of plagiocephaly needs to be addressed. What are the causes and how can we help before it's too late? Now, unfortunately for most parents, helmets tend to be the only option offered for plagiocephaly by traditional medical doctors and specialists. However, this approach doesn't get to the root cause of the problem, nor does it help with any of the mobility challenges. With that, we will answer your questions about it all. What is plagiocephaly? What causes it? And is a helmet the only way to care for it or treat it? And what is the most natural, effective, and gentle ways to care for a child struggling with it? I'm Dr. Joe Schneiderbauer. I'm a pediatric chiropractor, and I'm here to shine a light on so many questions that you've asked. And because you've gotten this far in this video, I know this topic of plagiocephaly is important to you, and you probably know other moms and parents who are in a similar boat. Please do them a favor and share this video with them so they can make the best decision for their child. I want to start with a real life example of two rockstar parents who were able to help their daughter Millie. Now, as Millie got older, her parents became increasingly concerned as they watched the flat spot on her head get worse and worse. Her pediatrician suggested a helmet, but Millie also faced movement restrictions with her neck and jaw, and they knew the helmet would do nothing to help those challenges. Mom and Dad tried to keep Millie off her back as much as possible, but thank goodness they listened to their gut instinct that kept telling them there was something more going on here, and there had to be a root cause of her plagiocephaly. Before we dive into what Millie's parents did, let's break down the causes of plagiocephaly. So let's start with the three main causes of plagiocephaly. The first one is pressure and positioning while sleeping or in the womb. Plagiocephaly is caused by repeated pressure on one part of the baby's skull. It's made worse when babies lie or sleep in the same position most of the time. This is a common occurrence in infants, and studies show that 20 to 25% of babies develop varying degrees of plagiocephaly when they sleep on their backs. Plagiocephaly can even start to develop when the babies are in the womb if they are stuck in an abnormal position and their head is pressed tightly against the uterus. And the risk is even higher with twins or multiples who have less room in the womb. Now, number two, muscular torticollis causes a stiff, stuck, twisted neck limiting movement. Plagiocephaly can also be talked about alongside muscular torticollis, which is a condition in an infant that causes a stiff, stuck, and twisted neck where the kid's head is constantly bent to one side, making it difficult to turn or rotate their head in both directions. Because this neuromuscular tension and restriction, a movement caused by torticollis, it often causes and contributes to plagiocephaly in a very, very big way. And many kids struggle with both conditions simultaneously. So if you want to learn more about torticollis, please check out our video on torticollis, but we're going to jump into number three. We're talking birth interventions, including things like forceps, vacuum extraction, or C-section. Now, birth interventions such as forceps or vacuum during delivery have been associated with an increased incidence of head shape abnormalities, including plagiocephaly in infants. Several studies have actually investigated the relationship between birth intervention and the incidence of plagiocephaly coming together. In this article here, there's a systematic review and meta-analysis published by the Journal of Pediatric Rehabilitation Medicine in 2018. It found that the use of forceps in vacuum delivery was associated with a significantly increased risk of plagiocephaly. We've got that in the comment section or down below, or link to this video if you want to check that out as well. So let's go back to the questions you asked. What are some of the signs that my baby may be struggling with plagiocephaly? Well, the good thing about the symptoms of plagiocephaly, they're pretty straightforward and can include the following things. Number one, there's a visible flat spot on the side of the baby's head or the whole backside. Number two, the baby usually has less hair on the flat side of the head. And number three, when you look down at the baby's head, the ear on the flattened side may look pushed forward a little bit. There's also imbalances of the ears, the eyes, and other facial features. And actually, in severe cases, the forehead may bulge in the opposite side of the flattened head, along with other facial asymmetries. While plagiocephaly itself shouldn't be painful for babies, the risk is that they will struggle to hit their developmental milestones due to underlying issues with gross motor function, subluxation, and torticollis. Now, this study shows those delays that I shared with you here carry on into the toddler years. And again, we've included the link to the study so you can see it for yourself. And with that being said, kids with unresolved plagiocephaly could be more susceptible to things like ear infections and other respiratory infections, since the subluxation and motion restrictions limit the body's ability to then drain fluid from the ears, move mucus through the respiratory and lymphatic systems. We're going to jump over to what are the natural and less invasive options available to help with that plagiocephaly. Thankfully today, many parents do just as you're doing right now. They're exploring other options for plagiocephaly besides traditional medicine or medical approaches or recommendations of things like helmet therapy and physical therapy and things like that. While we strongly encourage you to keep looking beyond those options until you find one that truly does get to the root cause, the treatment for plagiocephaly should never require medicine or surgical intervention, since a vast majority of the cases don't involve a condition called craniosynostosis. That's a big one, which is where bones of the skull fuse together too early, and it affects the way the brain's physical ability to then grow and develop. For Millie's parents, they weren't shocked when they saw what I'm going to show you here. They were not shocked when they saw the neurologic insight scans. Clearly showed one side was more stressed and subluxated because it limited her movement. Now, the significant subluxation by the red bar in the neurothermal scan image right here shows the most common pattern that RPX docs see with plagiocephaly and torticollis. Now, in addition to consistent chiropractic adjustments, we encourage ways to support your baby at home as well with the following home care options. I want you to be sure to allow for plenty of tummy time and multiple position changes. Number 2, try to limit the time your baby spends in bouncers, swings, and car seats. Number 3, I want you to alternate the side that you hold your baby when feeding and carrying. Doing these things together with those chiropractic adjustments makes a huge difference in kids' lives and development. Now for Millie, once she started chiropractic care, her parents began to notice improvements immediately. Millie shocked her pediatrician by only having to wear her helmet for a very, very short time. The chiropractic adjustments got her nervous system to a healthier place and cleared out those subluxations that we showed there, so her neck and jaw could easily move and her skull could continue to grow and mold properly. Millie gained extra benefits or positive side effects of chiropractic care too, that included consistent bowel movements and just overall happiness. Like I mentioned before, so many parents have these questions and we are happy to answer them for you. Our DMs are always open, and for more info, please just visit the link in our bio.